Enter the sinister side of Disney, as we uncover 10 deleted scenes that were considered too unsettling and provocative for the big screen. At number 10, we have the cut scene featuring the death of Tarzan's parents from the movie Tarzan. This scene would have been pretty intense and scary for young viewers, so it was a good call to leave it out. In the movie, we follow the story of Tarzan and Jane. Jane stumbles upon an adult Tarzan, who's been living like an animal in the jungle his whole life. She decides to teach him what it means to be human, including how to read. The movie hints at what might have happened to Tarzan's parents for him to end up in this situation, but the cut scene would have made it much more clear. The cut scene would have shown the gruesome and horrifying moment when Tarzan's parents were attacked and killed by dangerous animals. It would have been a frightening scene for children, especially with Phil Collins' "You'll Be in My Heart" playing in the background. Removing this scene was a good idea because it would have been too intense for young viewers. At number 9, we have the heartbreaking scene from Bambi where Bambi's mother is shot by hunters. While the scene is already known as one of the saddest moments in Disney history, it could have been even more traumatic. In the movie, Bambi's mother urges him to run away when they hear a gunshot. Bambi escapes, but realizes his mother isn't behind him. He goes back to find her, but it's too late. The scene is emotional, but it could have been even more heartbreaking if Disney had shown the moment when Bambi's mother is hit by the bullet on screen. Such a moment would have been devastating for Bambi and would have likely left a lasting impact on young viewers. The movie's focus on Bambi's journey, his friendship with Thumper, and his growth after his mother's death is powerful enough without needing to show the graphic details of her death. At number 8, we have a cut scene from Toy Story where Woody's jealousy towards Buzz Lightyear gets the best of him. In the movie, Woody and Buzz are accidentally separated from Andy and the other toys, but the original plan was for Woody to intentionally push Buzz out of the window. This scene would have significantly impacted Woody's character and his relationship with Buzz. Instead of the enemies to friends dynamic that develops between them, Woody would have been portrayed as a villainous character who lets his jealousy control his actions.
Woody! I'd just like to wish you luck. I know you'd do the same for me.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Whoa! Oh!
By removing this scene, the movie allows Woody to maintain a moral code and prevents him from becoming unlikable. At number 7, we have the original ending for Charles Muntz in the movie Up. In the final version of the film, Charles Muntz is defeated and disappears, leaving the impression that he's no longer a threat to Carl, Russell, and their friends. However, the original ending was meant to be much darker. In the original concept, Charles Muntz would have followed Kevin into the Labyrinth Crags, which would have driven him further into madness as he continued his never-ending search. This would have been an intriguing ending for a movie aimed at older audiences, but it doesn't fit the family-friendly style of Disney and Pixar. By choosing a more ambiguous ending, the movie allows audiences to focus on the heartwarming conclusion of Carl's journey and his newfound family with Russell and Doug. It also avoids the potentially disturbing implications of Charles Muntz's descent into madness, which may not have been appropriate for younger viewers. At number 6, we have a controversial cut scene from Zootopia that involved the use of electric shock collars on predator animals. In the movie, predators are already seen as dangerous and are even falsely framed as going savage, thanks to Don Bellwether's scheme. This already makes a powerful statement about prejudice and discrimination. However, the original idea was to take it a step further by depicting predators, including Nick Wilde, being forced to wear electric shock collars. This would have portrayed torture of animals, which is a highly sensitive and disturbing topic. Such a scene would have likely been met with strong criticism and negative feedback, as it goes against the family-friendly values that Disney movies are known for. By removing this scene, Zootopia was able to maintain its message about understanding and acceptance without resorting to graphic and potentially traumatizing imagery. At number 5, we have a significant plot change in Frozen that would have made Elsa, the Ice Queen, into the movie's villain. In the final version of the film, Elsa is initially feared for her ice powers, but she ultimately learns to embrace them and becomes a hero. However, the original story could have gone in a darker direction. In the alternate storyline, Elsa would have been the main antagonist, creating a much more sinister relationship between her and her sister Anna.
Yes, yes, Your Majesty!
What a coincidence. Never underestimate the power of snow and ice.
This would have been a stark contrast to the unconditional love between the sisters that is at the heart of the film. It would have also taken away the powerful message of self-acceptance and the journey of transformation that Elsa goes through in the final version. By changing Elsa's character from a misunderstood hero to an evil villain, the movie would have lost a lot of what made it so beloved by audiences. At number 4, we have a cutscene from Alice in Wonderland that would have made the movie much darker. The original novel, which was not created under Disney's family-friendly guidelines, included a scene where Alice is executed, although it turns out to be only a dream. When Disney adapted the novel into an animated movie, they initially considered including Alice's execution to stay true to the source material. However, this would have been a significant departure from Disney's usual approach to storytelling, as beheading the main character, even in a dream sequence, would have been quite gruesome for young viewers. While the animated movie ultimately did not include this scene, Tim Burton's 2010 live-action adaptation did take on a darker tone overall. At number 3, we have a disturbing cutscene from The Lion King that reveals Scar's true nature. In the movie, Scar is already shown as a villain who desires power and is jealous of Mufasa and Simba. However, a deleted scene would have portrayed him as an even more problematic character. In the cutscene, Scar declares his intention to force Nala into marriage against her will, simply because he wants to.
Ah, Nala. Your timing couldn't be more perfect.
Let the pride be my witness. I choose Nala as my queen.
And I reject you.
Either be my queen, or be forever banished from the Pride Lands.
This would have added a new layer of darkness to Scar's character, as it shows him as not just a murderer, but also someone willing to impose his will on others for his own desires. The scene also provides more context for Nala's motivation to find Simba and urge him to return to Pride Rock. While the final movie portrays Nala as wanting a better world for her family and friends, the deleted scene suggests that she may have also been motivated by a fear for her own safety under Scar's rule. Ultimately, the decision to remove this scene was probably for the best, as it could have significantly altered the tone of the movie and made it much darker. At number 2, we have a cut scene from Lilo and Stitch that portrays Stitch in a much darker light. In the final movie, Stitch is an unlikely friend to Lilo, who helps her navigate her own struggles with fitting in. However, a deleted scene would have shown a more disturbing side of Stitch's character. In the scene, Lilo and her pet fish, Pudge, are attacked by a group of seagulls. Instead of helping, Stitch sits on the sidelines and laughs.
This is Pudge. He's my other best friend. Stitch, help me! Stitch, help!
While he doesn't physically harm anyone, his reaction is still troubling and suggests a more psychotic side of his character. This portrayal of Stitch could have potentially damaged the familial bond that develops between him and Lilo in the movie. Additionally, the scene includes the burial of Pudge beside Lilo's parents' graves, which would have added a darker tone to the film. Ultimately, the decision to remove this scene was likely a wise one, as it could have made it more difficult for audiences to empathize with Stitch and enjoy the heartwarming story of Lilo and Stitch's friendship. At number 1, we have a deleted concept from Cars that would have taken the movie in a much darker direction. In the final version of the film, Lightning McQueen ends up in a small town and learns valuable lessons about friendship and community. However, the original story included a scene where Lightning McQueen drives through a car graveyard, witnessing several dead cars. This scene would have been quite disturbing for audiences, as it would have depicted cars in various states of disrepair, making it clear that they were no longer functional. The idea of a car graveyard is a stark contrast to the light-hearted tone of the rest of the movie, and it's understandable why it was ultimately cut. By avoiding this dark imagery, Cars was able to maintain its focus on the positive themes of friendship, community, and personal growth.